say, Alana, welcome to Rush to Reason. How are you today?
Very good. How are you?
We're doing well, and you could probably tell from that last little segment, we're trying to figure out on our show, we've done this now this is our second Wednesday in a row. We're going to narrow this down, have a Facebook contest. We're trying to come up with the best nickname for Hillary. Because there really isn't one. A lot of politicians end up with a nickname, but she, for some reason, has escaped getting a nickname. So we're trying to make sure she gets one.
What's your favorite so far?
Well, guys, what's our top right now so far?
Well, Auntie Saul and Comrade Clinton.
And Hildebeest. Hildebeest has kind of risen to the top, too.
Oh,
so far, we have 31 nicknames that we're trying to narrow it down to. And they've been pretty good, actually. Yeah, it'll be tough. We'll actually, maybe we can get you to vote when it's all said and done. We'll let you know where our Facebook page is and go vote. And we'll eventually we're going to have a winner. And then maybe as we start using that, the rest of the press will pick it up and she'll end up with a nickname. That's our hope. So talk to us about donations and the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, so this is a story that I wrote on a Sunday, and this is about the Clinton Family Foundation, which is a separate foundation than the one we've been hearing a lot about in the news that has been accepting news foreign funds. So this Clinton Family Foundation is smaller. It's kind of the Clintons' own personal, private charity.
I thought they were broke.
Yeah, and this was actually started in 2001, so that was exactly when they did say that they were dead broke. It was started with $800,000 in seed money from them, and now it's grown to a point where they're giving away a little over $1 million a year. And we found by going through the tax documents for the foundation that in 2008, while Hillary was in the Democratic primary running for president, they donated $100,000 to the New York Times' charitable arm.
Got it.
And
so kind of one charity donation to another.
Yeah.
Got it.
But this is a charity group that is run by New York Times, top executives, members of the board, members of the family that controls the New York Times, and it's closely affiliated with the paper and with the people running the paper.
Got it.
So, and basically when this donation came, one of the questions that we raised from this was the New York Times endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2008 over Barack Obama and John Edwards, and there was a bit of controversy surrounding this at the time. There were a couple of reports in Vanity Fair and in the New Republic that said that the Clintons had kind of pressured, or there was this idea that the Clintons might have pressured the editorial board somehow into backing her. And so there were questions over, why this endorsement happened.
Got it.
So
makes sense. And it makes total sense that they would have endorsed her after a nice $100,000 donation to their own charity.
Yeah, so what we actually were able to find out this week was the date of the donation. And the New York Times didn't really want to tell us after a couple of days. They ended up telling BuzzFeed the date of the donation, even though, we asked multiple times. And anyway, so the donation came in. I guess there were two checks. There was one check that was written in the summer of 2007, about 6 months after Hillary launched her primary campaign.
Okay.
And that was for $100,000. According to New York Times, it got lost in the mail. It was sent to the wrong address, something like that. And so it was replaced with a follow-up check in the summer of 2008, about a month after Clinton dropped out of the race. So that's interesting that the check just got lost, I guess, and nobody noticed for a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, it's very weird. And of course, the person who was handling the check at the New York Times charity at the time is no longer there, and so they don't have any other information about,
of course not,
what the donation was supposed to be used for and everything.
Of course not. Yeah, and it's here's something that I find ironic about that. You and I both, if somebody gave you a $100,000 check, wouldn't you keep track of it?
Well, yeah, and it's actually interesting. The Weekly Standard did an interesting follow-up today. So the New York Times does publish the names of foundations and people who give over $100,000 to this charity. They did not publish the name of the Clinton Family Foundation that year. They said it was because they only published the names of $100,000 plus donations that are going into their, their trust or their endowment.
Got it.
For this foundation, and that they said the Clinton donation must have been for something different than the endowment, but they're not really sure what it was for because, again, the person who was handling the check apparently is no longer with the charity. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that
there have been
works.
questions, but it is interesting. I mean, this is somebody who was a candidate at the time when they wrote this check. This is the middle of a primary campaign. Gives $100,000 to a charity affiliated with one of the top newspapers in the United States, where the newspaper's endorsement was very, very critical.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
And good coverage was very critical. And not to say that this necessarily influenced the endorsement or this influenced any of the coverage in any way, but I think that it certainly raises questions, and it's also about transparency.
Yep.
Should the newspaper be accepting? First of all, one, accepting money from candidates.
They shouldn't be.
And two, and two, should this be disclosed at least if it's done? And I also asked the New York Times spokesperson if this charity had accepted any money from other people who were during campaigns,
right?
And she said she wasn't able to comment on that. So that's another question. We really don't know.
The more you keep digging on these foundations and the money, and even in your article, you talk about, the Clintons donating to the King Hussein Foundation, the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation. I mean, so what I keep hearing in all of this is for being dead broke, because that's really what Hillary said. We were dead broke, not so much.
Yeah. I mean, the donation that they gave to the Times, and I mean, you don't fault anybody for giving to charity, obviously, but the donation that they gave to the Times, $100,000, that's more than Rubio spent on his luxury speedboat.
On his speedboat, his $30,000 speedboat.
Yeah, his luxury speedboat that was in the Times article on his finances. So
and no offense, a $30,000 speedboat really isn't that luxurious, because even here in Colorado, we don't have a lot of water. $30,000 on a boat doesn't get you real far.
Yeah, I think it was $80,000, but
okay, $80,000.
But that was, I mean, the guy got an $800,000 book advance, so. I mean, you're going to take 10% of it and spend it on a boat that you want your entire life.
Big deal.
You really fault him on that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my feeling on that is that's the least of my worries. What somebody goes out and buys. In fact, the more of them buying, the more it helps our economy. So I really don't care. More power to them.
Yeah.
And in these cases, bottom line, really what you're getting down to, on a serious note, chasing the money, finding out where everything goes. Everything that happens with the Clintons has some sort of a dirty trail behind it, from what I can see. There's nothing there that ever goes on in an honest basis. Am I right?
Well, I mean, it's worth asking these questions of any politician,
Yep.
I mean, follow the money with anybody who's running for public office, and I think they should all be vetted like that.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Well, and thank you for vetting it out. Thank you for doing that. Without people like you doing what you do and finding this information out, we would not know. So thank you very much for doing that. How can people find more of your work, Alana?
They can go to freebeacon.com or follow me on Twitter at Alana Goodman. That's ALANA Goodman.
Great. Appreciate it. Alana, thank you so much. Have a great evening. We'll have you back in the future. And again, thanks for joining us on Rush to Reason.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Appreciate it very much. All right, gentlemen. We'll